Mutants is directed by Josh Boone and tells a story of a group of mutants who are put into a hospital facility of sorts where they're apparently being treated to get into the X-Men by this doctor who's trying to help them control their powers. But everything is not what it actually seems, because this doctor actually has some sinister plans for them. And these younger mutant teenagers are trying to find their ways out of a horrifying situation. Now, this film had a lot of production delays, guys, and it was supposed to come out in 2018, but then got pushed back due to the studio wanting to have reshoots done, which had never been made anyway because reasons, and then pushed back again because of the Disney acquisition of Fox, and then pushed back again and again because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has been a wild ride with this film. I was hoping for this movie to be fantastic. I love the idea of a superhero film going into the horror genre, and it just seemed like another unique movie in the X-Men franchise. Of course, it was going to end because of the Disney acquisition of Fox, but I was still looking forward to what this movie could bring. Even though Dark Phoenix was a horrible movie, I really did not like that movie, I was still interested in this one in particular. That being said, this movie was a disappointment. I had a mediocre time with this film. I don't think it was horrible. I loved the way it was shot. It felt different from other superhero movies. All the actors, including Charlie Heaton and Anya Taylor-Joy, are giving it their all in their roles. I loved some of the CGI effects and some of the action sequences. Some of the horror elements are very unique to the superhero genre, even though they aren't particularly scary. I will say that they did add a bit of creepiness to the film, which I never see in any other superhero movie, to this extent at least. There have been many tense moments in superhero movies, but I've never seen anything go into the horror genre. And this just felt very unique to it. Even though it was a mediocre movie, it did stand out a bit. Also, the second act with the teenagers, for the most part, was competent. The whole movie was competently edited, but it was also kind of generic. Some of the romance subplots don't really add much in my opinion, and the first act was very choppy, especially the opening of the movie in where it translates to the next scene. It just did not feel right, and it just made me not really care much about the characters themselves at all. I liked the actors in the movie, and I thought they were doing a good job. Alicia Braga, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, does a fine job for what she is given, but these characters and this writing, it's all thin. I really did not see myself finding any emotional investment with any of the characters and what they're going through. And it did not make the horror element of the film all that scary, because I wasn't really feeling it for the characters at those moments. And as I said before, the romance subplots really don't add much. It felt too forced in, like, we need to have teen romance, and these teenagers do a lot of teen things, and it just did not fit in right with this superhero / horror film. It just did not really tonally feel right. It did not feel consistent in that aspect, and the whole story just felt been there, done that from other better movies. Josh Boone, for what he was in pressure from the studio, I guess did a fine job directing. It was well shot and competently lit, and it was well staged, but there's nothing striking about it. There's nothing that gives it that punch that needed to be to stand out completely. It is unique in the sense that it's a superhero horror movie, but in terms of its concept, that's all it was able to give. That's amazing. Overall, I just had a pretty lackluster feeling throughout the movie. I didn't care much about the characters. I didn't care much about the story, and it made some of the good elements feel even blander, I guess is the right word. Overall, New Mutants was a very disappointing film. I was so excited. I was supporting this movie all throughout. I did get a chance to see it in theaters because of the pandemic, so I waited for it to go on Blu-ray or streaming, or I could just rent it when I get the chance. And I rented it last night. And it disappointed me. It disappointed me a whole lot. I was expecting a lot more from this. I'm going to give the New Mutants a C. I'm going to have a couple more reviews for 2020 movies come soon, and then I'm going to do a top how many number of movies came out this year that I like and that I hate. So expect that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.